Hello again you guys, it's Carly from the Poetry of Nice and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is a channel all about reselling online. I sell on Poshmark, Etsy and eBay, and I do it while being a stay-at-home parent to 3 boys 5 years and under. So there's a lot of work-life balance that I like to show on this channel, and I will show you everything from haul videos to sales videos to how-tos, tutorials, day in the life and all kinds of other fun stuff in between. If that sounds interesting to you, please do think about hitting that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to say hello in the comments so that I can say hi back. So today I want to share with you 5 ways that you can be more consistent within your reselling business. These are going to be 5 tips, just practical things that you can do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that you are staying active and, like I said, staying consistent while you're building your business on different platforms. Number 1 will seem like an obvious one, but it's to list daily. What I mean by that is list fresh items, brand new items every single day. If you need to and you want to at the weekend, you can always schedule them so that you have that consistency. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but it's definitely an option. I will also say that when I go away on vacation, I make sure that I schedule listings to go live as well, just to make sure that my store doesn't die a death while I'm being inactive for a length of time. Now, I realize that that's not necessarily practical for people who have full-time jobs or other commitments. Again, as a mama, I sometimes do and sometimes don't manage to list on a consistent basis, but I will say that one thing that has helped me to achieve that is to prep ahead. I have a book where I can take all my photographs, I take them in bulk, and then I list all of the items and I list my measurements. So I'm doing bulk work. Bulk photographs all at once, it just makes it much more streamlined, a quicker process, and then I know that that hard part, hands on the garment, is done. And then the same as well for the measurements. I can sit in front of the TV in the evening and I can feel like I'm not sacrificing too much of my time while I just sit and measure garments and watch my TV shows or whatever it is that I'm doing. And then I write all that information in the book, and that way that it is mobile. You could also do it like on a tablet or something like that, or even on your phone if you wanted to have it to hand. I like pen and paper, just a personal preference. And then what that means is that if I'm waiting in a school pickup line, I can pull it out and I can start listing items from my phone. Or even if I'm just distracted in the morning, the kids need stuff, the house needs stuff, whatever it is that's going on, the majority of the work and the majority of like the thinking, I suppose you could say, is done for me. I just literally need to input data, move the photographs across, put in the measurements, put in very basic information about the item, and I am done. So I like to prep ahead so that if the day gets on top of me, it doesn't matter, I've already put myself in good standing. Tip number 2 is to rework old listings. So if you don't have new items to sell, if you haven't managed to get out to source, or you just haven't managed to prepare ahead or anything like that, there's quite a few different reasons why we might not be able to get a new listing up, and I totally understand that. But one thing that you could do, and you can absolutely do it from your phone or from a tablet or something as well, is to rework an old listing. And that means go in and maybe change some keywords out in your title or your description. The more that we do this, the more that we learn. I definitely have revisited old items and thought, why did I not put that keyword in there? This is a really distinctive neckline and I haven't mentioned it at all in my title. It's because I didn't know about it then, and now that I've learned about that style of neckline, I need to go ahead and pop that information in to better my chances that someone will find and buy my item. You also could rework photos and things, but I'll be really honest, I don't do that very often. Unless it's a very high priced item or something that is just screaming for an overhaul, like it's the worst photo I've ever taken, I don't usually go back and do that. I'm far too busy putting my efforts into getting fresh inventory up online rather than reworking old inventory in a way that would cost me a lot of time, like taking new photos would. Tip number 3 is to establish a return customer base. So that is easier said than done. But one of the ways that you can do that is reaching out and getting personal with your buyers. So on Poshmark or eBay, it could be, or even Etsy, any of the platforms really, it could be as simple as tagging them or writing a comment, sending a message, and actually personally thanking them for their purchase, letting them know when that item is going to be going out. It also helps if you ship things in a timely manner. It could also mean like packaging and things like that. You don't have to invest a lot in fancy packaging to catch a buyer's eye. I would just say, again, nice and neat, maybe a piece of tissue paper if you're feeling that way, and just making sure that things are folded nicely. I put a thank you sticker on the outside of my packaging and things like that, just little touches pictures that maybe let them know that a bit more thought and heart has gone into it. That can help as well. And also having a more cohesive sort of aesthetic, I suppose you could say, to your closet or your store, whether it be that you specialize in maybe vintage items, or you specialize in career wear or mature wear, whatever it is that you are drawn towards, that may also give you a good customer base, because they know that when they're looking for the next funky vintage sweatshirt, your store is a good place to visit to see if you have anything that might catch their eye. Tip number 4 for being consistent with your reselling business is to stay on top of your bookkeeping. I say this to myself as well, because we all fall behind in this. So there are a few different ways that I track my bookkeeping. Very basics. Again, talk to a CPA about what you need to be tracking for your own personal business, because it differs from person to person and from CPA to CPA, I am sure. But for me personally, I make sure that I have a separate business account, and every incoming and outgoing goes through that business account. So I always have an electronic record to be able to share for taxes and things like that, and for my own personal reference point when it comes to purchasing and selling inventory. I also keep all of my hard copy receipts in a binder just in case I need to fall back on them, and I do keep a very basic spreadsheet letting me know where I purchased a lot of items from, how much I paid, how many items were in that lot, and what that date was, just so that I have that information at hand in case I ever need it. I personally don't break down item by item, because I would literally be at my computer until the end of days, and my CPA is okay with that. We have worked out a strategy for me and my bookkeeping and my inventory logs and things like that that reflects how I buy my inventory, i.e. en masse, for very low cost of goods at yard sales and church rummage sales and things like that. I also track my mileage in terms of when I'm driving to different places to source, and I do that through QuickBooks. I have the QuickBooks app. I do pay monthly, and that is just a really good way for me to follow what I'm spending and how far I'm driving and all that good stuff in between as well, so that at the end of the tax year I have a nice concise document that I can review when I'm putting together my profit and loss statement. And tip number 5 is to structure your week and limit the sourcing. Again, I say that to myself. So I personally source one day a week, and that is because it is how I can go about it efficiently with having kids at home. I source mostly on a Saturday morning. Sometimes the family comes along, sometimes they stay home, it just depends, but I buy as much as I can in that small pocket of time to keep me going throughout the week. And also I like to have a big old death pile as we talk about it. To me, it's some storage totes with items put aside. I like to do that because I don't always know when I can source next, and when it comes to winter months and things like that, I like to know that I have a stash of items to work through that are not going to force me immediately to go and pay those thrift store prices for fresh inventory. Having said that, sometimes I get the opportunity to work independently, i.e. without children surrounding me, and sometimes I choose to source when I shouldn't, quite frankly. I'll go to a thrift store just for the pure joy of treasure hunting when I should be sat at home listing items. Don't we all? So my advice here would be limit that, be strict with yourself, have a little bit of discipline if you can, and structure how you need to work. So if Saturday is my sourcing day, then Monday through Friday, I would say Monday is my photographs day and a couple of listings. Tuesday is like where I would measure things, add a couple of listings. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is where I really crack on and get listings, and maybe schedule some listings that will need to go up when I am not available to be at my computer, like on vacation or at the weekend. If you are interested in what my daily task list looks like, I will go ahead and link the video up here showing you what that is. And basically it's a breakdown of all of the tasks each day that I need to get done in order to remain consistent with my stores, and also to pretty much ensure daily sales at this point. Yes, we all have $0 days. It happens to all of us, but I do feel that this list really gives me a great focus point in terms of day-to-day what needs to be achieved, what doesn't necessarily need to be achieved, and to keep me on task to make sure that I'm staying consistent within my business and my activity on the platforms. Alright you guys, I hope that those 5 tips were useful. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe down below if you have not already. Don't forget to say hello in the comments. Share your own tips by all means. What do you do to stay consistent and to keep those consistent sales coming in? And I will see you in the next video. Bye you guys.